Welcome back to Waterford. Tonight we're outside the Tower Hotel in the centre of this historic city. But many voters here will tell you they feel they haven't had their fair share of investment. A lot of hopes now pinned on a proposed €500 million development for the North Quays. But it's the lack of 24/7 coronary care facilities that remains a big issue. And though numbers on the live register have more than halved here since 2011, there's a perceived lack of high-skilled, well-paid jobs. Sharon Violon has been out and about talking to the voters in this 4-seat constituency.
Testing the political temperature in the iconic home of hand-cut crystal. Now it's the few remaining craftsmen on display, and it's retirement age which has them blowing a gasket.
I was a child coming in, I was 15 years of age, like most of all the lads here, like, you know. I'm 41 years here now, and I'm going to be here until 68, which is 53 years service I'll be given.
The resurgent economy has lifted this city, but local government incentives are a lifeline.
Oh, you're very good, thank you. The council own this building where I have the shop, and so I've got very affordable rent, and then there's a rates relief incentive for kind of artisan shops for the first few years to help you along.
Elsewhere, it's insurance driving employers up the walls. A 350% premium hike means this centre's future hangs in the balance.
Our back is against the wall now. Everything is good for this year, but once our renewal comes around, we could be in a bit of a bind.
There's no denying Waterford's recovery, a 54% drop in the live register since 2011. But Waterford's food bank has never been busier.
They're struggling with rent and they're in debt, that they have problems. They're trying to put children through school.
Those who emigrated, many to Australia, are slow to return.
I missed them terribly, really. They'll come back maybe every second year, maybe. Like, there's a lot of Irish people over there, you know, a lot of Waterford people.
Those high-skilled workers who do return find well-paid jobs just aren't there.
We're big supporters of Waterford. We're like, all my friends live here, and we want to stay here, and we want to eat out here, and we want to go out for drinks here, and it's just, we don't have any surplus money at the end of the week to even do that.
So when you look back at your days in Australia, you must pine a little bit.
Yeah, we think about it every day. We probably talk about moving back every second day.
Outside the city, it's a familiar story. The Burkes of Passage East are 4 generations on the sea.
We went away at 7:30 this morning and went down close to Loftus Hall.
This fears Stephen may be the last.
Post office is gone, pubs are almost gone, shops are almost gone.
You've got your ferry over there.
That's our ferry, yeah, that's about the only thing that's left here, you know, but when is the tide going to turn for rural Ireland? I don't know.
Like, the boats are getting old, the men are getting old, and all the young people have kind of left us, you know.
It's a note that chimes with the troubadours of Waterford Estuary Men's Shed.
Me is to love me, but I must be one hell of a man. Oh Lord.
They acknowledge generous government funding, but a more fundamental infrastructure outlay is required, they say.
They can get man on the moon to talk to you. They can't get a little bit of internet into the villages. You may as well whistle Dixie, you know, because it's very poor.
Along the stunning Copper Coast, I meet this hardy bunch.
I think the spirit has come back into the country, yeah. I think things are on the up, and especially in Bamahan, I think it's an up-and-coming village again. We were busy 10 years ago till we lost our post office. Last couple of years have been tough, but yeah, in the last couple of months you see a change.
For Waterford people, I suppose, we're frustrated that I suppose we've forgotten about for the last number of years, infrastructure-wise, whether it's the health system, education, roads, broadband, the whole shebang.
But it's health and the need for 24/7 coronary cover which lies at the heart of this election.
It's like somebody jumping up and down on your chest.
If you're going to have a heart attack in this constituency, best to have it Monday to Friday during office hours.
They said we'll have to get a helicopter. It's an emergency case. So when I heard that, the alarm bell started going off in my head.
Kieran's care in Cork was second to none, but when every second counts, it's a trip he and others here would rather not have to take.
There's no facilities for coronary heart care. I'm not the only one, of course. I won't be the first, and I guarantee I won't be the last.
Kieran Murphy there, ending Sharon's report. So 11 candidates, 4 seats and just 2 incumbents in the race. The constituency of Waterford is wide open following the departure from politics of Fine Gael's John Deasy and Junior Minister, the independent John Halligan. Alva Keneally has been on the campaign trail with the candidates searching for those votes.
We'll go in here, okay?
Seeking votes for Fianna Fáil in Dungarvan, Mary Butler, who topped the poll in Waterford in 2016, is on the campaign trail again with running mate Eddie Mulligan. This time there are questions over the supply and confidence deal with Fine Gael.
Some people are unhappy with us, there's no doubt about it, but I do think there's a recognition out there that we took a hard decision for the sake of the country. And we must remember on 3 occasions Micheál Martin went into the Dáil and looked for support and it didn't come. You know, while other parties sat in their hands, there could have been no government.
David Cullinan, how are you getting on? Sinn Féin isn't expecting to sit on its hands this year. The only other incumbent in Waterford, David Cullinan, wants to see his party in government.
Sinn Féin will be looking to implement our policies and put our manifesto on the table. If other parties want to rule us out, that's a matter for them. But we want to be in government, not for our own ambition, but for the ambition of the people that we represent.
If Cullinan and Butler manage to retain their seats, there are 2 more up for grabs. Hoping to benefit from the departure of Fine Gael's John Deasy from politics are the party's candidates Damien Geoghegan and John Cummins.
People are saying to me on the doorsteps that they do wish to retain a TD in the mid-county West Waterford part of the constituency.
But there's competition from the current Waterford mayor. Labour's John Pratt is hoping geography and the departure of the former independent Minister of State John Halligan will help him.
Of course I need to be getting some of John Halligan's vote, but I also believe, you know, it's a mixture of the West Waterford, you know, the Dungarvan vote and the city vote that's going to put me in the mix.
All the remaining candidates are fighting hard to win the Halligan vote, including People Before Profit. Una Dunphy also believes she'll benefit from Sinn Féin transfers.
Because we'd be closely aligned to them with our policies compared to other people, and also with John Halligan, who did start off Workers' Party and did start off with a very strong working class vote.
But Waterford isn't adverse to returning independent candidates, which could benefit Matt Shanahan.
We have been forgotten about, and I think a lot of the TDs that we've put forward haven't had potentially the opportunity or maybe the ability to stand up.
The other independent is Bernadette Phillips, who, like all the candidates, is running on the issue of 24/7 cardiac care at Waterford Hospital.
I'm standing on a social justice issue. I'm standing for 24/7, not 8 to 8. It's not acceptable to the people of Waterford City and County in the South East.
Also new to the ballot paper is Aontú, not just a pro-life party according to its candidate Dr Ronan Cleary, but a new option for those tired of Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil.
Although we are a pro-life party, that is not the only thing that we are restricted to.
As the Green Party canvassers set out on their evening rounds in Tramore, they're mindful that this is where the MEP Grace O'Sullivan began her political career.
I think we'll be able to bring a strong voice from Waterford. We have a strong voice in the European Parliament. We're represented now on the City and Council, and I'd like to bring that representation to the Dáil as well.
So will the green wave roll again in Waterford, or will another independent become a TD? It's a bellwether constituency, so whatever happens here will be watched carefully. Alva Keneally, RTE News, Waterford.
Well, to flesh out some of these issues, we're joined now by RTE's South East correspondent Conor Kane and by John O'Connor from the Munster Express. Conor, coming to you first, we saw Kieran Murphy there in Sharon's report. The whole story of the cath lab still a huge issue around these parts.
It is, of course, Eileen, and just like in many parts of the country, healthcare is probably going to be a big issue in this election. But in Waterford, chief among the concerns, I suppose, in that area is the lack of 24/7 catheterisation laboratory care. And it's been an issue now that's been going on for a long number of years. People say that you don't have a heart attack in Waterford at the weekend or you're in trouble. You could have to be transferred to Cork. So that's going to be an issue. And the HSE would say that progress is being made on providing a second cath lab to ensure round-the-clock cath lab care. But that remains to be seen when and if that will be completed.
John, what do you think are the other principal issues?
Well, as Conor said, a full 24/7 cardiac care is really important. The difficulty people have in getting a home of their own. The pension age is really a live issue. And there's a new thing that's come in recent weeks, where people are actually frightened to go to hospital, especially older people who might need to be in hospital, and they prefer to be uncomfortable at home rather than risk lying in a corridor.
Conor, the pension age has become a big issue nationally. Is it featuring here?
Yes, it seems to be. I think it's on the minds of a lot of people, and I suppose it's something that's come up as a bit of a surprise maybe to the main parties, and particularly Fine Gael, the outgoing government party. But it is something that concerns a lot of people, people who retire at 65. What are they going to do for the following year or possibly more? So that has definitely been coming up as a live issue on the doorsteps.
So now, as we said, this constituency wide open, John, with the departure of John Deasy and John Halligan. Are you prepared to call it?
Well, I think David Cullinan of Sinn Féin will be re-elected. Mary Butler of Fianna Fáil will be re-elected, not in any particular sequence. One of the Fine Gael candidates will be elected. At the moment, the pundits are favouring Geoghegan in West Waterford, but I think John Cummins in East Waterford shouldn't be underestimated. And then there's 5 or 6 candidates for that remaining seat. And remember, if either Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil get a bump in the polls towards the end of just before polling day, their second candidates will come into play.
Conor, what about the Greens? Grace O'Sullivan gone to Europe. Has the Green candidate any chance?
Mark O'Gahey, you're talking about one of the several poll toppers from last year's local elections. He topped the poll in his electoral area, so he certainly couldn't be ruled out. He's got a good chance, and he could be in there fighting for the 4th seat with the likes of John Pratt of Labour, maybe a second Fianna Fáil or maybe a second Fine Gael, as John said, if they have good days. And of course Matt Shanahan, who is standing on that 24/7 cath lab healthcare issue, and also topped the poll in his own electoral area in the last local elections, and is now standing as an independent.
Conor Kane and John O'Connor, thank you both for joining us here this evening. So in all, 11 candidates running in the Waterford constituency, 2 of the 4 outgoing TDs not seeking re-election. The voters will have their say on Saturday week, February the 8th. Finally, Ireland's longest bridge opened today, and it's here in the southeast. The Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy Bridge, named after the mother of former US President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, is part of the New Ross bypass, which will take 11,000 vehicles daily out of the County Wexford town. And that's it from Waterford for the moment, so it's back now to you in Dublin, Sharon.
Thanks, Eileen.